So admittedly, I should have made this video a while ago because I believe we only have 90 more days until we're going to see the next leg of the bull run kick off, whether it happens in 90 days or it happens in the next 2 days. Who knows? But all we know for sure and for certain is it's going to come, and it's going to come parabolically. But before we continue, guys, do not forget, if you do enjoy today's video or you learn something new, right? If you look at one of these coins and go, okay, I'm interested, I want to learn more about it, then I want you to go down there and hit a like on the video. It helps support all I do over here. Thank you very much in advance. And while you're down there, hit the subscribe button, of course, so you can achieve all of your crypto goals this bull run. It's what Raoul Pal and many others consider the banana zone, where we pretty much have, from the point in time we are at right now, a massive, and let me say right now, parabolic move to the upside. Bitcoin's price increasing many multiples over, and of course the entire market moving up in the same sort of fashion. So if we can find 5 really promising altcoins that won't just mimic that parabolic rise to the upside, but even do better. I'm talking about going vertically. That is the importance of this video. I wanted to find 5 coins that if I had to put my money on for this next moment, or at least for the whole entire bull run, these would be the picks. Now, I own some of these, I don't own some others. Why? Well, because my portfolio doesn't mean or doesn't allow me to buy some of these coins. There's a whole bunch of reasons as to why. I'm sure here down in the comments as to what you might think, what some of the haters might think are the reasons why I'm not buying these coins. But if I could start clean again, yes, these coins are all complete great picks at the current prices even, and we'll get some pretty high multiples. They're not going to be low cap shit coins. These are quality coins. You can, if all goes unwell for you, hold for the next cycle and still make some good money then as well. So like I said, these coins have to be in diverse narratives. There is no point in me picking 5 coins that are all AI coins. We're all in crypto right now, okay? We have to at least be somewhat diverse amongst the narratives, not too spread thin, but definitely in the right one. So we're looking for 10 and 9 out of 10 ranking narratives. And if you don't believe me, if you're like, what's this narrative talk he's talking about here? Narratives, as you can see by this color-coded chart, pretty much allow a whole bunch or select group of altcoins to pump at a certain time. Now, depending on what that group of altcoins are and how much of an interest there is in the market on that group of assets at the given time or at that cycle, depends on the growth. AI wasn't as large of a pretty much narrative in the last cycle as it is this cycle. These things ebb and flow. That's why I've created a subjective list ranking them in my personal opinion. So we're looking for the high ranking narratives. And again, remember, these typically all have blow off top moments at the same time. I've documented this time and time again. Now, project number 1, I've selected here for a very good reason, Near Protocol, okay? What we're going to do in this case is rank each of these on a dominance and performance scale from where they pretty much were in the last cycle at their lows to where they are right now. So what does that mean? Well, in the case of Near Protocol, you can see right here that from its lows in October, this is its market dominance we're talking about here. It's gained 3.5x since that time. Now, I don't know how familiar you are with market dominance, but what that actually means is that, Near Protocol isn't just moving upwards with the market. It means that Near Protocol has therefore outpaced the market by an order of 3.5x, which is so much better than just moving up with the market. A project that moves up or down with the market just maintains its dominance. It's pretty much stuck where it is in terms of market cap, but it gains and loses as the market does in proportion. So obviously Near Protocol is a step above the rest by the looks of this already, because there is an extreme amount of interest in this coin. And that's because it hits Web3 layer 1, which is the primary narrative I'm looking at it for this cycle, and also AI, DePIN, and a whole bunch of others. Data availability, right? It pretty much is the jack of all trades. And honestly, almost is the master of some of those, okay? So that's pretty good, enough for this cycle. Now, in terms of the actual performance, I'm thinking that this project probably could go anywhere from about $50 to $90 or $100. I know it's a very, very wide range. I've capped it over here at $90 in this case. But as we can see here, this is the red, gray, and green zones. You pretty much want to be trying to sell in the green zone. So in any case, that should get you about an 8x from the current price. Of course, if you go any lower, you tend to get some pretty high multiples. I've averaged in at about $2-ish. There's a pretty good ROI expectation on the coin for someone like myself. I've made a recent review video on Near Protocol, so I'll leave the link to that down below like a few days ago. There's no point in me regurgitating all that same information to you here. If you do want to learn more about Near Protocol, go check out the links down there. It is definitely one you need to look out for, because while it might not be a 100x coin like you're looking for, it is a much safer play for this cycle, hits many different narratives, and again, it is one to hold for the cycle after. Plus, you can even stake the coin with only a couple days unstaking unlock period. So it's definitely worth looking into. Project number 2 is Pyth Network. Now, I'm going to go over Pyth in a bit more detail than I did with Near Protocol today, because there's been a lot of controversy around this coin, which I have also addressed in a video as well. But I want to say, like, Pyth isn't one of those coins that has a similar record as Near Protocol, because it's a very new coin, right? This coin literally launched in November of last year. It hasn't got that track history and that sort of, I guess, October to current sort of market dominance we can compare it to the market. But what I will say right now is this is the only real true competitor to Chainlink. Matter of fact, it actually beats Chainlink, I believe, in the true Oracle sense of what Chainlink does. Chainlink is a master of many things now. It's definitely a true player in crypto, but this coin is your hedge. If you miss Chainlink, this is what I personally have invested in myself. Again, not financial advice, of course. This is what I've done. And I've pretty much averaged into this coin at about 51 cents or so, okay? So up about here. So the current price is fantastic. There is a strong level of support currently at about the current price of 40 cents. It has dipped below a little bit earlier on in the cycle, about pretty much January this year. But what it has done is held this really, really well. So the reason why it's come down so much recently, which we'll touch on in a second here, is the fact that it recently had an unlock, and with the market sort of having a not ideal, I guess, sentiment at the time, it really pushed the price of Pyth Network down. But that is where we got this really, really nice flip on this day here. It went dropped down to the line and came straight back up again. And I called it, right, of course, because it's very, very simple stuff if you look into it, and people have made some pretty good money and a great entry level on this coin because of that. Now, in saying that, this coin, if you don't know much about it, it's an Oracle, okay? It does the Oracle game differently to Chainlink, even though it is an Oracle as well. It's got a lot of assets secured, about $7 billion right now, which is incredible. Chainlink, of course, has more, but again, Chainlink is a much more mature project in general. But you can see the ecosystem map right here of May is insane. Literally insane. The blockchains it's connected to, and by the way, has most of the value secured on, is far and exceeding that of Chainlink, okay? It has over 500 individual price feeds, which it gives to each and every single one of these blockchains. So the different sort of market prices for different things, whereas Chainlink can't do that. It is unfeasible and very expensive for applications to pull that information in. These guys do it much more efficiently and cheaper for the applications. That's why they're one of the favorites. That's why you can see a lot of the TVS and some of these very big growing ecosystems try to use Pyth when possible, okay? So this massive unlock happened here. Actually, if I click the last month, you can see that the price itself actually fell then pumped on this day. But what happened is a whole bunch of tokens were unlocked. Okay, this sort of event right here sort of happened, and it caused the market cap to increase because there was new tokens issued, and the people got scared, right? But the thing you have to understand, guys, when tokens unlock is that they're given to different areas of the project. In this case, most of it was to the ecosystem growth, publishers, and protocol development. So all net positive things. Only a little bit went to private sales. So there was going to be no sell-off event happening for this project, especially this early on in the cycle. So while the market cap 2.5x, you can see here, the price actually fell on that day, and then as it sort of happened, it pumped up, all right? Now, the reason being is, again, because people were selling before the event itself, pushed it down, and when people realized, oh, actually, okay, the price is at a really good level, let's buy, they bought it up. There was no actual selling on the day. The day itself actually had the pump. So that's a long story, and I'll leave the links down below to it. It is a bit interesting when you think about it, right? Because you would assume that an increase in market cap is now going to mean that there's less multiples on the table. That is fundamentally wrong, okay? That's completely wrong. Price is not discovered via market cap. Price is discovered by the markets and how those individual markets are trading. This is how price is found, okay? People can make the mistake very easily of saying, well, hey, to get a 10x, the market cap's going to have to go to 14 billion. That's wrong. There just have to be an equal amount of proportion to actually moving the price demand coming onto these exchanges. Now, we can get very complicated with this, which is not what I want to do. But what I do want to say here is that just like Chainlink, Pyth actually benefits from a really unique and very powerful form of online defensibility we call embedding. Okay, there's 4 different types. The most powerful is network effects, but nevertheless, embedding is one of the top ones, because what this fundamentally means is that when Pyth itself is used in all these different applications, and the primary oracle used on all of these big networks is that you can't pull Pyth out. You can't shut Pyth down. It needs to be used to pretty much enable many economies, these blockchain economies, to run. Just like Chainlink. If you just plucked Chainlink out, the capitulation event, well, we have Pyth now. Probably Pyth can pick up a lot of that slack, but typically it would have caused a very similar sort of black swan event to that of USDT. Not on the same scale, but very similar to that, right? It would have caused a massive black swan event because a lot of protocols would have just stopped working. So in the same regard that's impressive, so is what Pyth is doing. That's why it's on this list. As the more it develops and grows, pretty much the more it's going to be used and cannot be removed. My coin number 3 is Ondo. Why Ondo? Well, it's a real-world asset project, and not just that, these guys are partnered with BlackRock, like literally partnered with BlackRock, okay? They've actually tapped in to their Buildle fund, okay? This fund that, BlackRock tokenized a whole bunch of short-term US treasuries, but they had a minimum of, I think, $5 million for any individual to tap into that and actually access that liquidity. Well, what basically Ondo has done is pulled in a lot of that, a whole bunch of it, and then use it as a product, right? As a retail product rather than an institutional product that BlackRock was offering, okay? So it's kind of how some of these markets work. And obviously, this is a very, very big thing, right? This sort of announcement over here from this was from Securitize. And of course, Securitize itself is the transfer agent for that tokenized fund for BlackRock. Therefore, of course, it's interconnected with Ondo Finance. Also, the auditors, PwC, these guys are massive. And of course, the admin and custodian is BNY Mellon. So Ondo's in that institutional area already. And it's a very, very new coin, actually. You can see here, pretty much launched January of this year as well. So a lot of these new coins people love to get around, okay? Nothing more than it's new tech or it's got some sort of new partnership. These old coins can do very well. People are misguided into thinking that if it's an old coin, it's not going to do well. No, it just has to keep up with the current times and trend, and their technology has to be up to date, if not better than competitors. But of course, Ondo's hitting the scene with this massive partnership. And by the way, check out the recent review I've done. I did this review a few days back from this video uploading, and I'll leave the link down below as well. Just like Near Protocol, you have to watch that, right? I go into much more detail about the team and everything else regarding Ondo, as well as a price prediction. I will tell you a rough price prediction today, but you want to watch that video. Nevertheless, real-world assets is an area, particularly Ondo Finance, that you can hold for the next cycle if you were going into a coma for some reason, or you missed the bull run for some reason, okay? So in the next cycle, we can see here that, by then, 2029, 2030, real-world asset tokenization market, another R&D company called 21.co, they predicted around about, on an average case, 7 trillion by 2030. On a bull case, I think it was around 10 to 12 trillion. So yeah, we have high expectations. Even if crypto can pluck over, 10% of that, I believe on the low side of things, then we're going to see some pretty big gains for a quality project like Ondo Finance as long as it continues to develop. But of course, this cycle, I'm going to say anywhere between $18 to $24 for the price prediction. Just remember, guys, a price prediction is the very top. It's the very wick. Doesn't mean you should aim for that. It means you should go for lower, again, in the green zone. 25% down from $24. And then from there, 10% down to the gray zone, and then you can buy anything underneath that or sell anything underneath that in the green area. Number 4 here is a gaming infrastructure project. You guys all know Immutable X. Now, I've had a lot of consults with people recently saying, I've got Immutable, I'm not too happy about it. But guys, I want to say, of course, it's your own decision. Never any financial advice when I talk to people or on YouTube here. But what I do want to say is you have a very powerful coin with Immutable. Now, again, contingency here being that a powerful coin is only as powerful as the price you enter in at. If you buy Solana at $500 and it goes up $1 and then dumps, it might be a good coin, but you've bought it at a horrible price. So that, of course, plays into it. But I think generally right now, Immutable X is actually at a pretty good price, in my opinion. $225, it's been holding quite strong around here. The market dominance, just like Near Protocol, has been on a massive tear. It actually 4x'd from its lows in October. So it did, I think, even better than the likes of Near Protocol, if I remember correctly. It did a lot better than Near Protocol. Incredible stuff over here. And now it's come down a bit, but it's still about a 2x, just over a 2x up from those lows. So it's held in quite strong, particularly, and this is a very big particularly here, that gaming hasn't really had its time to shine yet. Gaming has been pretty much sleeping this cycle, but I can tell you right now, it's going to have a massive comeback. Now, I love Immutable because of the partnerships, right? This really is the biggest gaming infrastructure project in the space. It's the safest play, but I believe will still yield some good results. Now, an overall look into the last sort of 12 months of the project, they've partnered with Polygon over here to create the Immutable ZK EVM, but they've also partnered with Ubisoft as well. Incredible stuff. Also, Amazon Web Service. And by the way, these aren't just any sort of partnerships, guys. These aren't like, oh, we run a node on them, or we partner with Ubisoft to enter into their kind of like developer inception program. Now, these are genuine partnerships of massive proportion, okay? So you really want to look into this if you have the time. And also, they did partner with Merit Circle. Of course, these guys are another large DAO-focused infrastructure gaming project. We also have Unity SDK being built. This is huge, okay? And a few other things as well. They had 200 games launched on their, network last year, and there's more coming this year. I mean, there's just an endless amount of positive things to say about Immutable X. I think my prediction for this coin is about $15 to $25. I know, I get it. There's a $10 discrepancy between those two prices, but you got to remember, guys, as an influencer, so to speak, you have to be very careful with some of these price predictions you give to people because, people do run with them and don't really do any more critical thinking. So I will give it somewhere between there. Join the private community, of course, if you do want to have a more concrete answer from myself for what I think. And last, but definitely not least, DePIN and AI. Now, of course, we had Near Protocol hit AI and even a bit of DePIN. A few of these projects hit these sort of narratives, but these two are going to be the most powerful narratives of the bull run, in my opinion, especially together. That is why I've chosen Render for my fifth pick today. Now, a lot of people are saying, Corin, Render's not going to go up too much higher. Well, I disagree. I actually strongly disagree with you, and I'll show you why here in a second. So again, just like we saw with every other project on this list today, the market dominance growth for this, as of October, guys, has pretty much gone up 2.5x at the current time, and actually way back over here at its peak, it went up about a 3.5x. So Render's doing very, very well, just like the others are, and there's a very good reason for it, right? It is a deflationary project right now. The way its sort of model works is outlined here. Again, I'll leave my review video I did recently on Render Network down below, but basically it is designed to kind of incentivize the people that are using the network to use their token through this, which therefore creates more burn pressure, more sell pressure on the token itself. They've got some amazing partners. Render Network itself has a parent company called Atoy, built and created by the same CEO, right, Jules Urbach, and this guy has connections on connections. I'm talking about literally the biggest and best names in the world. Google, Microsoft, a matter of fact, we can see here that they actually quoted in the last NVIDIA GTC conference, which of course Render Network was at and on a panel on, basically had really good things to say about Render Network, okay? So this was a quote from Google and this was a quote from Microsoft. I actually will leave the link again down below to that video where I touch on that in more detail. Very, very big stuff. And one thing I will say, and big names on the advisor board, one thing I will say, this comes back down to what I kind of explained to you before about Pyth Network with this whole defensibility thing, right? This online defensibility aspect where we spoke about embedding. Well, these guys benefit from network effects really, really well. All these projects have network effects. The thing about Render is it's kickstarted because of the parent company. Because the parent company itself is a very reputable company, right? These guys pretty much brought like a whole bunch of new rendering concepts to the market. What they're doing is saying, hey, well, we used our distributed network we created called Render for all these different companies, okay? So basically Render will have a much faster time to hit critical mass, which means that the actual growth of the project just snaps into reality, kind of like NVIDIA has been doing recently. So this creates product market fit, and of course, it takes a very long time to get to the point of critical mass, but it's fast forwarded because of Atoy, in my personal opinion. Now, again, this is what I was saying before about I would definitely rebuttal anyone that says that Render can't go above $100 this bull run, because we can see here from a few of these levels that at the current market dominance growth, and yes, it will definitely do more than what it is at right now, that to hit a $100 token or a 40 billion market cap, these are the percentages we have to look at these global market caps, okay? So long story short, I think it's very, very believable that Render could actually go well and truly into the $80 to $120 range. Actually, matter of fact, at $100, it's a 40 billion market cap. And I think, again, because Render is the top AI DePIN project of the bull run, basically, that it could even go as high as $200, which is an 80 billion market cap. But again, I don't want to give you all hopium here and say, well, hey, aim for $200. No, guys. Not financial advice, be very careful, but even my price prediction sheet is giving me a number higher than $100 here, which again, like, seems crazy to think it came from like a few $100 million market cap, but we've seen this time and time again in the last cycle, guys. I mean, I think you have to just kind of be prepared for something like this to happen. But of course, don't hope for the best, expect the worst. And then you might want to leave some on the table to ride up to those sort of heights. So with that being said, everyone, thank you so much for watching this. And these are the like 5 ride or die coins. Like seriously, I put a lot of my, I guess, trust behind these 5 coins, and I have no problem, telling friends and family about these because I truly do believe in them for this cycle especially. Thanks so much. Talk to you all soon. Take care. Bye.